A South African boxer and a friend of Oscar Pistorius has told his murder trial that the athlete fired a shot under a table in a restaurant in Johannesburg and then asked the friend to take the blame for it. The incident happened in January last year, just weeks before he allegedly killed his girlfriend. Oscar Pistorius, of course, denies all the charges. Let's take you over to Karen, who is following the trial so closely for us from Pretoria. Just bring us up to date, Karen, with the other things we've heard in court today.
Yeah, Lucy, the last three witnesses that we've been hearing from are to do with a separate charge of discharging a firearm in a public place relating to January 2013 when Oscar Pistorius was having dinner with some friends in a place in Johannesburg. A gun went off under the table while Oscar Pistorius was handling his friend's firearm, and that was the reason for talking to those witnesses today, and they took the stand and were cross-examined as well. The prosecution trying to build a case that Oscar Pistorius is a reckless person, a person who can't be trusted around firearms, an irresponsible person. And before that, the day began with witness number 3. Now, that was specifically relating to the night when Reeva Steenkamp was shot. And we heard another very, very intense cross-examination by defence counsel Barry Roux. But with me is Marius du Toit, a lawyer, a criminal lawyer here in South Africa, in Johannesburg. Marius, I mean, what do you make of what we've been hearing? The fact that we heard these 3 witnesses about a totally separate charge. What are they trying to do?
I think one must understand that the state has obviously added these charges, but the repercussions for Oscar Pistorius on these charges are really trivial in comparison to the charges he's facing of premeditated murder. So one then has to ask yourself, why is the state adducing this evidence? And why have they decided to charge with it? And I believe it has to do with creating a picture. They're trying to paint a picture for the court to say, well, listen, Oscar Pistorius did not only shoot his girlfriend, but he's a person that negligently handles firearms. He's a person that's got a flawed character because now he was able to say to one of his friends that, listen, I want you to take the rap for this. And otherwise, the state would, of course, not be allowed to adduce evidence of his flawed character. I mean, there's no way you can adduce it because character evidence is inadmissible. The only time that you can really adduce character evidence is, of course, I tell you that I'm such a fantastic person and you decide you want to attack my credibility because I'm a flawed character. But that has not happened yet. But the state knew that by adducing evidence of the fact that Oscar Pistorius discharged a firearm, they are now able to say, well, listen, he tried to compromise one of his friends as well.
Very briefly, in 20 seconds, how do you think the third witness, Charles Johnson, held up under cross-examination?
Well, I think it's still early days, Coroner. I think one must understand that he will most probably come back to the stand tomorrow. He was asked to go and get his iPad and look for his cryptic notes because, remember, he mentioned that everything was on the iPad.
Okay, thank you very much, Marius du Toit. Thank you very much for talking to us. And from here in Pretoria, the court has adjourned for the day. We will be back, of course, with first thing tomorrow with all the developments from Oscar Pistorius' trial.
Hello, spring warmth is set to build across